Marc Bergevin tries to win a cup. Take 6. Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. I've just arrived in Prince Edward Island. On the way here, it was brought to my attention by Justin on Facebook Messenger.
Breaking news.
Breaking news that Jonathan Drouin has been traded to the Montreal Canadiens for Sergachev. Now, it's good timing because, you know, we're both Canadiens fans, and I've arrived just after the news broke, so you're the perfect person to talk to. So what's your thoughts, and why are you wearing that jersey?
Well, the jersey, it's actually the first time I've had it on. I've owned the jersey for about 5 years. This is a signed Montreal Canadiens jersey, signed by all the players of the 2011-2012 Canadiens. Includes Carey Price, PK Subban, Josh Georges, players that I really have a lot of time for, and even if they're on other teams now, like Buffalo and Nashville. And Carey Price, of course, still with Montreal. I got this jersey through a friend of mine. Every year, Scott Morrison from Sportsnet has a charity golf tournament in honor of his wife who passed away due to cancer. And Scott Morrison then solicits teams and players for memorabilia to auction off after the golf tournament is over. So I happen to be very good friends with one of Scott's brothers, John Morrison, good friend of mine. And John is a former work colleague of mine, and he contacted me at work one day and said, look, I'm going to this charity auction. Would you like me to bid on a Montreal Canadiens jersey? And I said, yeah. So he did. I gave him the maximum bid that I could go for, and he bid it up to, thankfully, win it without topping over my amount that I could spend. And a couple of weeks later, in a courier package, I got the jersey. I got the letter of authenticity written to Scott Morrison, care of the Kathy Morrison Memorial Golf Classic. And I am now the proud owner, and have been for the last 5 years, of this wonderful Montreal Canadiens jersey.
And it's got all kinds of signatures on there of every single player.
Every single player who played in the Montreal Canadiens that year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
and this is the first time I think you've worn it.
It is the first time. I have it ready to go into a display case, and it's not there yet. It needs to be properly mounted, and I'm not good at that stuff. So, but it will be going in a display case and hang proudly in my Canadiens man cave.
Ooh. Excited to see that.
Yeah.
All right, let's transition to the main topic here, Jonathan Drouin. I'm just going to tell you what you think, and then you can let me know what you think, because we haven't discussed this before. I just got here, we had supper, and then we went straight down here to film. So you don't know how I feel, and I don't know how you feel.
We have not discussed this.
So here's how I feel.
Okay.
There's three important things to take away from this, in my opinion. Number one, Bergevin's all in. He's all about winning the cup. I think this trade solidifies that. He basically just said, I don't want to wait for Sergachev to mature. I want the cup now. So he's going to get someone who's, you know, pretty much done maturing, or, you know, pretty close to it.
We'll see.
Hopefully, Jonathan Drouin.
Yeah.
Number two, he's saying, you know what? Come play in Montreal to other players. Because, you know, a lot of players don't really want to play in Montreal because the media and the spotlight is just, you know, a little harsh. So it's a message to the other players in the league that, you know, there's some more talent here. This could be your ticket. Your you know, this is icing on the cake here. Why don't you come join us, because we're going for it. And number three, he addressed the most needed issue: scoring. Montreal could not score in last season, in the season before, in the last playoffs. It was really bad, and it was much needed. And to me, this is just the beginning. I think Marc Bergevin is not done. This is just the beginning of he's all in. He's putting all his chips in. He's going to make it happen this year, and I hope he goes out and gets someone else who can put the puck in the net as well. But for right now, I'm happy with this trade. I'm sad to see Sergachev go. However, I'm happy with this trade. What's your thoughts?
I'm cautiously optimistic, and when I say cautiously, it's because I've seen a lot of defensemen who, before they even get a really good chance to get their feet wet in Montreal, they're off. Hainsey. McDonough became the captain of the New York Rangers, and guess who just beat the Montreal Canadiens out in the playoffs? The New York Rangers, and their captain, Ryan McDonough. So I'm very nervous when I see a new defenseman, a prospect who's just been drafted, who hasn't been proven one way or the other, and out the door they go. In the case of McDonough, we got Scott Gomez.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Woo!
You know, and, you know, even other established defensemen like a Josh Georges who went to Buffalo.
Yeah.
I don't like the Canadiens giving away defensemen that easily. Now, that all being said, Sergachev was a brand new draft.
He was. Yeah.
He had great prospects. He still does. He has great prospects. I think he'll be an elite player in this league.
Yeah.
And part of me wishes Montreal had waited him out. It was going to probably be another few years of AHL time and then conditioning time in the NHL. He's just a little guy, or a little guy. He's not little. He's 6'3", but he's a young guy. He's a teenager. On the other hand, Drouin, he's only 22. He's a young guy too, and he has crazy skill.
Yeah, it's
crazy
unbelievable.
skill. He's from St. Agathe, which is just a little Laurentian town not far out of Montreal itself. So he's a local boy.
Yeah, I don't want to make any assumptions, but I assume he probably grew up a Canadiens fan. But I shouldn't assume too much because Justin, who's also on the channel, grew up in Quebec as well, and he hates the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah,
so maybe I shouldn't assume that, but
well,
I will
he did,
assume that he...
Through his agent, just after the trade, he said this was his dream come true.
Wow.
So that, I think, is a good omen for
that
Jonathan
means
Drouin.
Like he does have some attitude problems. So hopefully playing for the team he, as you've said, your dream come true, probably loves. I mean, hopefully he's here for long term.
Hopefully, and I've seen other Twitter talk already that Bergevin wants to lock him down. He's going to be an RFA, so one more year basically is really all we're getting out of this right now, unless they lock him down. John Shannon earlier on television was saying he's probably about a $6 million, $5.5 to $6.5 million guy per year, maybe up to 5 or 6 years of a contract. I'd be content with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'd be content. Some of the highlights from him in the queue.
Yeah.
He was CHL Player of the Year before that, but some of the highlights of when he was with Halifax in the queue is amazing, and some of his Tampa Bay highlights are amazing. There is an attitude issue that did take place in the past, but of course we had an Alexander Radulov attitude issue with Nashville in the past as well.
It's true.
Radulov is older. He's had a little more time to mature, and he's had a removal from the NHL in order to do that. Drouin, not so much, but he's 22 is a big difference from 19 or 20.
Oh, yeah.
And, he's still young. He's just got all his future ahead of him. And now he's playing for a team that he says it's his dream come true. I hope it's everybody's dream come true who cheers for the Montreal Canadiens. And I do agree with you. I think this is a signal Bergevin is saying to the rest of the league, right around the time when you're starting to talk to free agents, or will be, that we're going for it. We're loading up. I think this also means that he's all in on re-signing Carey Price.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yep.
He's all in on that. It's going to be a cap problem maybe down the road, but he has to lock this down.
That's why he's all in right now.
That's right.
Carey Price's contract is coming to an end soon, and if they want to win, they need to do it now or next year, or it's over, it's done.
That's right.
And if they don't win this year, if they don't win next year, mark my words, you heard it here first, Marc Bergevin will be fired if Montreal Canadiens do not win the Stanley Cup in the next 2 years. Yeah.
But I know Marc Bergevin is a talented GM. I mean, we look at the Chicago Blackhawks, he's given them cups. And those cups are still, happening and will continue to happen, or those good chances at cups will continue to happen for Chicago in the coming years, because the talent that he put on that team, that core, that stays the same while everything else changes, that they'll be around a while. They're still young. And if he can put that same kind of core in place in Montreal with that kind of talent that Drouin and others might bring to bear, I think that's a very, very good omen.
It's going to be curious to see who he plays with. Is he going to play with Pacioretty? Is he going to play with Galchenyuk? Is Galchenyuk even going to be there? We don't know. It's really early, so it's hard to speculate who's going to play with. Yeah. But it's exciting.
It is, and the early rumor today, prior to the trade being announced, was that it was going to be Galchenyuk for Drouin. Ah. And then all of a sudden it was Sergachev for Drouin. So Galchenyuk is still there, but there's still a question mark over him. Frankly, I think the team has spent enough time on Galchenyuk.
Yeah, I do too.
And I think if Galchenyuk is needed to make other things happen, to go the other way in another big deal, I'm cool with that.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. And I'm cool with Nathan Beaulieu as well. And, Beaulieu has amazingly good talent, but has lapses of judgment from time to time.
Yeah, he's not consistent.
And that gives me frustration. So those two pieces, if they could be moved away and other pieces moved in with this new chemistry, Drouin is so creative. Now, he's a left winger. He's not a center. There's some talk maybe they'll try to make him into a center. I hope they don't.
Yeah, I agree.
Just keep him in the left wing. He's going to be all around anyway. I mean, he might not take faceoffs, but he basically will play.
I remember watching him in the playoffs last year against Pittsburgh, and he'd have the puck on his stick for 15 seconds in the offensive zone, just going back and forth. It was incredible.
It is incredible to watch, and he's going to be a real treat. One sports reporter in Montreal tweeted earlier today that he thinks that Drouin will eventually develop the same kind of fan following and adulation that PK Subban had.
Oh, wow.
And that's a pretty high bar to jump. But, you know, this guy knows the market better than I do. It's been a long time since I lived in Montreal. But if Drouin can get the energy off the fans, you know, his personality type is not the kind, apparently, I don't know him, but the personality type is not the kind of personality that would be worried about the NHL pressure and the media and all that in a big market like Montreal. He's one of those people that some folks have said will feed on that rather than be afraid of it.
Yeah, that's great.
So we'll see if that happens.
And we should also mention that there's two other things that went in the trade as well. I think Montreal sent away a second-round pick.
Conditional second round, or yeah, in 2018.
And then Tampa sent a sixth round?
Or maybe the other way around. I think we sent a sixth and they sent... No, that's right. We sent a second and we got back a sixth.
Yeah.
Right.
So are you okay with that, giving up in a second as well?
I really don't care. I think, you know, in 2018, I have no idea how deep the draft is even going to be.
Yeah, no one knows, I guess.
Is second round even going to be full of good prospects? The sixth might be, as it has been in the past. But I think those things are that's rolls of dice, and I don't worry about that stuff.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I'm cool.
All right, well, let's wrap it up there. Thank you very much for joining me. We're going to be filming.
My pleasure.
I'm here for a few days, so we're going to be filming lots of other videos.
Yeah, nice.
I'm not exactly sure what those videos will be, but I'm excited. Hopefully 3 or 4 videos in the next couple of days.
All right.
And I'll release them over the next couple of weeks. All right, thank you guys very much for watching this video. We hope you appreciate it. If you're new to this channel, we hope you hit the subscribe button. And if you like this channel, hit the like button. We'll see you later. Adios.